Tennis. Alcaraz sweeps into maiden Melbourne semi as Gauff gone in 59 minutes. Melbourne, Australia. Carlos Alcaraz warned he was improving all the time as he swept into his maiden Australian Open semi-final Tuesday, and a clash with Alexander Zverev, while Ukraine's Elina Svitolina faces Aryna Sabalenka in the last four. Spanish world number 1 Alcaraz silenced a partisan Melbourne crowd in brushing aside home hope Alex de Minaur 7-5, 6-2, 6-1 at Rod Laver Arena. The 22-year-old Alcaraz is yet to drop a set as he arrows in on a first Australian Open crown. "I'm just really happy how I'm playing every match. Each round my level is increasing," he said, in a warning to his rivals. "Today I felt really comfortable, playing great tennis that I am really proud of," added Alcaraz, who had never previously gone beyond the quarterfinals in Australia in 4 previous visits. The Australian Open is the only Grand Slam that Alcaraz has not won. Should he beat Zverev and then win Sunday's final, he would surpass compatriot and legend Rafael Nadal as the youngest man to win all 4 majors. Nadal was 24 when he did it. In a statement of his own, Zverev said he was playing without pain for the first time in 12 months after last year's runner-up blasted past young American Lena Tian. Zverev sent down 24 aces in a 6-3, 6-7, 5/7, 6-1, 7-6, 7/3 victory. World number 3 Zverev is desperate to finally win a Grand Slam at age 28, having lost 3 major finals including being well beaten in last year's title decider by Jannik Sinner. The German's 2025 season fell away after that, winning just 1 title in an injury-hit campaign, and he also struggled with his mental health, taking a 1-month break after losing in the first round at Wimbledon. "The last 10 days I felt healthy, which is very nice, and pain-free, which I haven't felt in a long time. Probably in 12 months, he said after dismantling Tian. Coco Gauff folded in 59 extra minutes as Svitolina set up a semifinal against Sabalenka. Belarusian world number 1 Sabalenka tamed 18-year-old American Eva Jovic 6-3, 6-0 in 38°C temperatures on Rod Laver Arena. In the evening, with the roof on because of the suffocating heat, 12th-seed Svitolina stunned 3rd-seed Gauff 6-1, 6-2. Television images showed Gauff repeatedly smashing her racket in the bowels of the stadium afterwards. The Ukrainian, who is on a 10-match win streak after a title-winning run at Auckland this month, added, "It means the world to me." Svitolina said she hopes her stunning upset will bring a little light to her fellow Ukrainians during a bitter winter under attack by Russia. For 2-time Grand Slam winner Gauff, a decade younger at 21, it was more Melbourne misery. She has still never gone beyond the semifinals, and the nature of the loss will sting. Gauff's serve deserted her, broken 4 times in the first set and twice in the second to leave her title aspirations in tatters. She was not amused to learn that her epic racket smash was caught by television cameras. "I tried to go somewhere where they wouldn't broadcast it, but obviously they did," she said. "So maybe some conversations can be had because I feel like at this tournament, the only private place we have is the locker room." In the first action of the day, Sabalenka closed in on a 3rd Melbourne crown in just 4 years. Having been stunned in last year's final by the American Madison Keys, the hard-hitting Belarusian said it was trophy or nothing after muscling past the supremely talented Jovic. The quarterfinals conclude on Wednesday, with 10-time Melbourne champion Novak Djokovic and title holder Jannik Sinner in action. Djokovic faces Italian 5th-seed Lorenzo Musetti and Sinner plays Ben Shelton of the United States. Tennis. Alcaraz sweeps into maiden Melbourne semi as Gauff is gone in 59 minutes. Melbourne wakes early during the Australian Open. The sun climbs fast, the air sharp with heat and anticipation, and Rod Laver Arena hums like a living thing long before the first ball is struck. Tennis here is not just played, it is endured, survived, conquered. And on this day, it crowned a new king of composure while reminding everyone how ruthless the sport can be. Carlos Alcaraz walked onto the court with the calm of someone who knows exactly where he belongs. At just 20 years old, he carried youth in his stride but certainty in his eyes. Melbourne had been waiting for him, not loudly, not impatiently, but with the quiet expectation reserved for players destined to shape an era. This was his first Australian Open semifinal, a milestone glowing just ahead, and he treated the occasion not as a burden but as an invitation. From the opening rally, Alcaraz played as if the court were an extension of his own imagination. His forehand cracked through the air like a whip, heavy with spin and intent. He slid, sprinted, improvised. Tennis is jazz, structured yet free. His opponent chased shadows, forced into defense by a player who refused to slow the tempo or soften the blow. Each point felt like a small lesson, about timing, about courage, about the fine art of choosing exactly the right moment to strike. The scoreboard moved quickly. Too quickly. Melbourne has seen long nights, 5-set epics, and matches that stretch into dawn, but this one was different. This was efficiency dressed as spectacle. Alcaraz didn't just win points, he erased resistance. When the final ball was struck, he had swept into his maiden Melbourne semi with the poise of a champion who understood that dominance does not always roar. Sometimes it simply arrives and stays. Elsewhere in the grounds, time moved even faster. Coco Gauff's match was over almost before it had begun. 59 minutes. Less than an hour to pack dreams, adjust expectations, and walk away under the unforgiving Australian sun. Tennis can be cruel like that. One day it lifts you. The next it reminds you that momentum is fragile and margins are merciless. Gauff, so often the symbol of youthful resilience and fearless belief, found herself trapped in a match that never loosened its grip. Errors crept in. Confidence flickered. Her opponent took control and never let go, playing with a sharpness that allowed no escape. The crowd watched in stunned silence as the clock ticked, realizing they were witnessing not a battle but a swift conclusion. Yet even in defeat, Gauff's story did not diminish. Tennis is not a single match, nor a single tournament. It is accumulation of lessons, scars, breakthroughs, and returns. Champions are not defined by how long they stay on court on a difficult day, but by how they respond when the court takes something away. Melbourne has a long memory, and Gauff's chapter here is far from finished. The contrast between the two moments, Alcaraz's ascent and Gauff's abrupt exit, captured the essence of tennis in one afternoon. Triumph and heartbreak do not wait their turn. They coexist, sometimes separated by only a few courts and a handful of minutes. That is the beauty and brutality of the sport. As the sun dipped lower and shadows stretched across the blue courts, Alcaraz's name echoed a little louder around Melbourne Park. A maiden semifinal. Another step toward something greater. The promise of more nights like this, where talent meets belief and produces something unforgettable. And somewhere beyond the locker rooms and quiet hallways,